The Academy of the Stars was not a place for the weak. It was where the strongest warriors from every world came to learn, fight, and prove themselves. The training halls echoed with the sound of battle every day. Alien cadets with sharp claws, glowing eyes, and armored scales tested their limits. In the middle of all this, a single human cadet walked quietly. His name was not important to them. They called him only the human, as if his identity did not matter. For weeks the alien cadets had mocked him. They laughed at his slower steps, his softer skin, and his lack of natural weapons. To them, he was a fragile mistake in a place of predators. But one alien cadet hated him more than the rest. She was a tall girl from a proud warrior species. Her skin shimmered like metal. Her eyes burned like fire. She was known as unbeaten in every duel. No one dared to challenge her. And she made sure everyone feared her name that day. When the cadets gathered in the training hall, she finally lost her patience. She turned to the human with a cruel smile. Her voice carried through the chamber as she shouted, "You would dare with me, human?" Her words echoed like a blade cutting through the air. The crowd of cadets burst into laughter. The sound of claws striking against the floor and wings beating in amusement filled the hall. Everyone expected the human to lower his head and walk away, but the human did not move. He stood still, his calm eyes fixed on her. His face showed no fear, no anger, only silence. The laughter began to fade, replaced with uneasy whispers. Why was he not reacting? Why was he not afraid? Slowly the alien girl stepped closer. Her claws scraped the floor, sparks flying as her voice grew sharper. "Do you hear me? Or has fear stolen your tongue?" she asked. Her eyes glowed with challenge, her pride demanding an answer. The human tilted his head slightly. His lips curved into the faintest smile. He spoke in a quiet voice that carried more weight than shouting. "And if I do dare?" The hall froze. The words hung in the air like thunder. The crowd fell silent. Every alien eye turned toward him. The girl's fire-bright eyes narrowed, but she could not hide the small twitch of surprise on her face. No one had ever spoken back to her like that. The silence grew heavy. Every cadet in the room felt it. Some whispered that the human had gone mad. Others whispered that maybe he was hiding something. The alien girl raised her chin. Her pride refused to back down. "Then prove it," she hissed. "Face me in the arena before the eyes of all. Show us if humans are anything more than weak animals." The challenge was clear. The cadets gasped, waiting for the human to refuse. They believed he would step back, maybe even beg for mercy. But instead, the human simply nodded, his eyes never leaving hers. "I accept," he said calmly. The room erupted into chaos. Some laughed, some shouted, some whispered in fear. None of them could understand why a human would walk willingly into a battle with the Academy's strongest warrior. The alien girl smiled, but her smile was not kind. It was sharp, dangerous, filled with the hunger of victory she thought already hers. She turned and walked away, her voice echoing behind her. "Then tomorrow, the arena will decide if you are brave or if you are only a fool." The human stood alone as the crowd stared at him. His calm expression did not change. No one noticed the faint light in his eyes, a spark that flickered just for a moment. He did not speak again, but in his silence there was something that unsettled them all. The cadets whispered in fear long after they left the hall. For the first time, they wondered if they had laughed too soon. The Academy did not sleep that night. The human's calm voice and the alien girl's challenge echoed through the halls long after the training ended. Whispers filled every corner, from the dining halls to the shadowed corridors. Aliens of every shape and color leaned close to each other. Speaking in low voices, none of them could believe what they had seen. The human had accepted. He had not begged. He had not run. He had not even looked nervous. To the other cadets, it was madness. They had all seen the alien girl fight before. Her claws cut through stone. Her speed left blurs in the air. Her strength could lift a beast twice her size. She had beaten every challenger, even those stronger than most soldiers. What chance did a fragile human have? Yet something about the human's silence disturbed them. He walked calmly through the corridors as if nothing had happened. His steps steady, his eyes never dropping to the ground. Some cadets tried to jeer at him, but their voices sounded weak. Their laughter hollow. They were mocking him. Yet inside they felt uneasy. Why did he not look afraid? In the far corner of the Academy's common hall, a group of alien cadets argued. One slammed his tail against the floor and hissed, "He is already dead. Tomorrow the girl will tear him apart." Another shook his scaled head. Then why did he smile? The question silenced them. That faint human smile had been more terrifying than anger. It was not the smile of someone walking to death. It was the smile of someone waiting for something. Rumors began to grow. Some said the human had hidden weapons. Others claimed humans were trained in secret arts. A few even whispered about Earth itself, a world that no one truly understood. They spoke of storms that destroyed cities, of beasts with teeth larger than blades, of oceans that swallowed ships whole. If humans came from such a world, maybe they carried something inside them the galaxy had never seen. The alien girl heard the whispers too, but she ignored them. She sharpened her claws under the dim glow of her chamber. Her eyes burned with pride. To her, the human's calmness was nothing but arrogance. Tomorrow, she thought, she would end the question forever. She would make sure no one dared to doubt her strength. Meanwhile, the human sat alone in the quiet training yard. The night sky above the Academy shimmered with distant stars. He looked at them for a long time. His hands rested calmly on his knees. He did not train. He did not sharpen weapons. He only breathed slowly, letting the silence fill him. The guards watching from a distance shook their heads. To them, it looked like madness. But one whispered softly, "Why does he look ready?" Morning came, and the Academy buzzed with energy. Cadets rushed toward the grand arena, their voices filled with excitement and fear. Today was no longer just another duel, it was a spectacle. Everyone wanted to see how long a human could last. Some expected a quick fight. Others hoped for humiliation, but deep inside, none could shake the image of his steady eyes. The arena gates loomed high, carved with the scars of 1,000 battles. Inside, warriors had risen and fallen. Legends had begun and ended. Now, the human would step through. The crowd waited with hungry eyes. The alien girl stood ready, her body shimmering with power. Yet somewhere in the noise, whispers still carried, quiet, uneasy words. What if we are wrong about him? The grand arena of the Academy was older than most of the stars around it. Its walls were carved from black stone, marked with deep scars from battles long forgotten. Above, a glowing dome of energy held back the vacuum of space, so that every cadet could breathe while watching from their high seats. The arena had seen champions rise, legends fall, and warriors crushed. But never before had it seen a human step onto its sands. That morning, the seats filled faster than ever. Thousands of alien cadets pressed together, their scales, wings, horns, and claws glinting under the bright lights. Their voices echoed like thunder. Some shouted with excitement. Others hissed with scorn. Many came only to see blood. A duel was not unusual in the Academy. But today felt different. Today felt dangerous. The alien girl entered first. Her tall frame gleamed like silver, her body moving with the confidence of a predator. The crowd cheered as her claws sliced through the air, leaving trails of fire. She raised her head high, glowing eyes sweeping across the stands. She wanted them to see her as their champion. She wanted them to believe that no human could ever match her strength. Then the gates opened again, and silence spread. The human stepped onto the sand. His armor was simple, dull compared to the shining scales of others. He carried no weapon. His face was calm, his steps steady. As he walked across the arena, the whispers grew. Some laughed nervously. Others leaned forward. For the first time, many felt uneasy. The alien girl smirked when she saw him. Her voice carried across the arena as she called out, "So you came, human. I thought fear would break you before sunrise." Her words made the crowd roar with laughter. But the human did not reply. He only looked at her. His silence louder than any insult. That silence spread like a shadow over the stands. The signal gong rang, its deep sound shaking the walls. The duel had begun. The alien girl charged forward. Claws flashing, her speed was blinding. Sand rose in clouds under her feet. The crowd shouted in delight, waiting to see the human torn apart in the first strike. But the human moved, not fast, not wild. Only a single step to the side. Her claws struck nothing but empty air. She spun around in shock. The crowd gasped. They had never seen someone dodge her so easily. She attacked again, faster, harder. Her claws tore long scars into the stone floor, sparks flying, yet every time she struck, the human shifted just enough. His calm steps looked almost lazy, but her claws never touched him. Sweat began to form on her brow. Her pride demanded victory, but her heart felt something strange. Hesitation. The crowd had fallen silent. Only the sound of her furious strikes and the human's steady movements echoed across the arena. Whispers returned, spreading like fire. How is he doing this? He should not be able to. Humans are not this fast. At last, the alien girl stepped back, her breathing sharp. Her glowing eyes narrowed as she hissed, "You mock me, human. Do you think dodging makes you strong?" She raised her claws high, her body blazing with energy. "Then let us see if you can dodge this." Her power lit up the arena, blinding white light flashing through the dome. The crowd cheered again, believing she would finally crush him. But the human only stood still, his calm eyes never leaving hers. As the light flared, he whispered words too soft for the crowd, but loud enough for her to hear. "I am not mocking you. I am measuring you." The alien girl froze for a heartbeat. Her claws trembled. The crowd leaned forward, waiting for the storm to strike. But in that 1 second, she realized something terrifying. The human had not even started fighting yet. The air inside the arena was heavy. The crowd leaned forward, their eyes glowing, their claws tapping, their wings twitching. Every creature could feel it. The fight had only just begun. The alien girl's power burned brighter, her body glowing like molten steel. Sparks danced from her claws as she stepped closer. Fury in every movement. She had never been pushed like this, never been forced to miss so many strikes. Her pride screamed for victory. The human stood still, his shoulders relaxed, his hands empty. His calmness was not weakness, it was control. He moved only when needed, each step precise, each breath steady. His eyes never left hers. The crowd began to sense it too. This was not the stance of prey. This was the stance of a predator who knew exactly when to strike. With a roar, the alien girl lunged again. Her claws slashed downward with the force of thunder. The ground split open where she struck, sending shards of stone flying into the air. The sound echoed like an explosion. Yet the human had already moved, his body turning just enough to let the strike pass him. His movement was so simple, so small, but it was perfect. Frustration burned in her chest. She struck again and again, each attack faster, sharper, more desperate. Her claws cut through the sand, carving deep trenches. She moved like a storm. But the storm could not touch him. The human stepped aside, leaned back, ducked low, always just beyond her reach. The crowd gasped with every miss. Their cheers turned into silence, then into nervous whispers. Finally, the human moved. Not fast, not violent, only a single strike. His fist shot forward like lightning. It did not land on her body, but stopped just short of her throat. The wind from the blow made her stumble back. Her heart froze. For the first time, she felt fear. The crowd erupted in shock. They had expected the human to be crushed. Instead, they had seen him choose not to strike. He had shown control, power, and restraint in one single motion. The whispers grew louder. He could have ended it, he held back. Why? The alien girl's pride boiled over. She screamed, her voice shaking the walls. Her body glowed with rage. She unleashed everything, her claws flashing, her energy blazing like fire. The sand lifted into the air as her strikes became a storm. This time she fought not for victory, but to erase her fear. The human did not retreat. He met her storm with silence, his movements sharper now, his steps faster, his eyes glowing faintly. For every strike she launched, he found a way through. His body slipped between her claws. His fists met her strikes. His calm breathing never broke. It was no longer just a duel of strength. It was a duel of will. Each time she struck, he answered, not with violence, but with perfect control. The sound of their clash filled the arena. Stone cracking, sand flying, energy bursting. The crowd could hardly follow. Their eyes struggled to keep up with the blur of motion. Some shouted in fear, others cheered in awe, but deep inside, they all felt the same thing. The balance was shifting. The alien girl staggered back at last. Her claws glowing red, her chest heaving. Sweat dripped down her face, her eyes still burned with fury. But her body trembled. She had given everything. Yet the human still stood calm, his breathing steady, his eyes locked on her. For a moment silence fell again. The human finally spoke. His voice was quiet. But it cut through the noise like a blade. Strength without control is nothing. Will without patience is weakness, do you understand? The alien girl's claws shook. Her pride told her to fight again. But something in her heart whispered the truth. She was losing. And worse, the human had not even shown his true power yet. The arena floor was broken. Deep scars cut through stone, sand rose in clouds. Glowing under the light of the dome, the alien girl stood with her chest heaving, her claws trembling. Every strike she had launched had failed. Her pride cracked, but her fury only grew stronger. The crowd leaned forward, silent and restless. No one could understand how the human was still standing. She roared, her voice shaking the walls. Her body flared with energy, white fire wrapping around her frame. Her species called this state the flame of victory. It was power born from rage, the kind that ended battles in moments. Her claws glowed red-hot, her eyes burned like suns. She raised both arms and let all her power explode outward. The blast struck like a storm. A wave of fire and light rushed across the arena. The ground shook, the walls cracked, the crowd screamed with excitement. Many believed this was the end. The human would be burned to ash. The duel would be over, the smoke rose high, covering the arena like a dark cloud. Whispers filled the stands. It's done? He's gone? No one can survive that, some cheered. Some laughed. Some even began to chant her name. But slowly their voices died, one by one, their eyes widened. Through the smoke a figure stood, the human. His body untouched, his armor still plain, his eyes glowing faintly with a light no one had seen before. He stepped forward, each footstep calm, steady. The smoke seemed to bend away from him, as if the air itself refused to touch him. Gasps filled the crowd. Fear crept into their voices. Impossible! No one survives the flame. What is he? The alien girl's burning pride faltered. Her claws lowered slightly, her body trembled. She had unleashed her greatest weapon, yet it had done nothing. The human lifted his hand. For the first time he moved not to dodge, not to test, but to reveal. A faint hum filled the air, low and deep. The ground vibrated under his feet. The light in his eyes grew brighter. Not fire, not energy, but something older, stronger. It was not the power of rage. It was the power of control, of survival. The crowd clutched their seats as the air itself thickened. Creatures with wings struggled to breathe, scales rattled, hearts pounded. They felt as if the weight of a planet pressed on them. The human's voice finally broke the silence. Calm, yet terrifying. You thought humans weak because we lack claws? Horns or fire? He took another step, the sand cracking beneath him. But strength is not in what we are given. It is in what we take, in what we endure, in what we refuse to break from. The alien girl stumbled back, for the first time in her life. Her knees shook. She had fought beasts, soldiers, even war machines. But never had she felt her spirit tremble like this. She tried to raise her claws again, but her arms felt heavy. Her heart pounded not with fury, but with fear. The human lowered his hand. The weight in the air remained, pressing on everyone, reminding them of a truth the galaxy had ignored. Humanity did not fight with claws or fire. Humanity fought with something deeper, something that could not be measured in strength alone. The crowd was silent, thousands of eyes fixed on him. They no longer laughed, no longer mocked. They only stared, some in awe, some in fear, all realizing the same truth. This duel was no longer just about victory. It was a lesson, one the galaxy would never forget. The arena was silent. The crowd's whispers had turned into uneasy breaths. All eyes were fixed on the human who still stood calm. Glowing faintly with that strange hidden power, the alien girl's chest heaved. Her claws still burning, she had unleashed everything. Yet the human had not fallen. Instead, he had made her feel something she had never known before. Fear. Her pride could not accept it. She could not accept that her strength had failed. Her body trembled with rage. Her pride screamed louder than the council's laws. With a roar, she crossed the one line no cadet dared to break. The arena shook as she summoned the true power of her species. It was not training energy, not a duel technique. It was the forbidden weapon of war. Her claws glowed white-hot, brighter than suns. Energy flames wrapped her body, cracking the very ground beneath her feet. Sparks shot upward as the protective dome strained to contain her power. Gasps filled the stands. Council elders rose to their feet. Their voices rang out in warning. "Enough, this is forbidden. Stop this at once." But she did not hear them, or perhaps she chose not to. Her pride had consumed her. In her heart, there was no council, no rule, no limit, only the human who had dared to stand against her. The human did not move. His eyes watched her with the same calmness. His silence spoke louder than the shouts above. Slowly, he lowered his hand to his side. As if inviting her to strike, the alien girl screamed. Her voice cracked with fury and desperation. She leapt forward, claws raised. The forbidden energy blazing around her like a storm. The air itself screamed as she cut through it. The arena floor split open beneath her. The crowd cried out in shock. Some turned their faces away, unable to watch. They knew this was no longer a duel. It was an execution. But as her claws descended, the human raised his arm. For a moment, time seemed to slow. His eyes glowed brighter. His body did not blaze with fire or light. Instead, an invisible force rippled outward. Heavy and ancient, it struck the girl's power head-on, not with violence, but with something far more terrifying: control. The clash shook the arena. A shock wave of silent energy blasted through the dome, knocking dust from the walls and sending cadets sprawling in the stands. The crowd gasped as her flames flickered, then dimmed. The white-hot glow of her claws cracked like broken glass, pieces of light shattering into the air. She stumbled back, her eyes wide with disbelief. "No! Impossible," she whispered. Her voice shook. For the first time, she could not feel her own strength. The human had stopped it, not with a weapon, not with rage, but with sheer will. The council's voices rang out again, furious and alarmed. "She has broken the law. This duel is ended." But the crowd did not move. No one could take their eyes off the human. His calmness pressed down heavier than her rage. His power was not wild destruction. It was something deeper, older, unshakable. He looked at her and finally spoke, his voice steady, carrying across the arena with chilling clarity. "You crossed the line because you could not accept defeat. That is not strength, that is fear." The alien girl's claws trembled. Her heart raced. Her pride cracked under his words. She had broken the law, she had unleashed forbidden power, and yet she stood defeated before someone who had not even raised a weapon. The crowd felt it too, a shift that none could deny. The duel was no longer about her. It was about him, humanity. The galaxy would not forget what they had seen. The arena still trembled from the forbidden clash. Dust hung heavy in the air, broken stone littered the ground. The alien girl stood shaking, her claws dim. Her body bent forward with exhaustion. Her pride was shattered. She had crossed the forbidden line, but even that had not been enough. The human walked toward her slowly, his steps calm, steady, deliberate. Every sound of his foot on the cracked floor echoed across the silent arena. The crowd watched without speaking. Thousands of eyes followed his every move, some filled with awe, others with fear. None could look away. The alien girl tried to raise her claws again, but her arms were heavy, her strength was gone. Her breath came in short gasps. She looked into his glowing eyes and felt something colder than defeat. It was understanding. She finally knew what he was. The human stopped in front of her, close enough that his calm presence pressed against her like a weight. He did not lift his fists. He did not strike. Instead, he spoke, his voice low but carrying across the dome. "Strength is not rage. It is not pride. It is not the fire you burn in others. Strength is what survives when the fire has gone." His words sank deep into the crowd. The cadets shifted uneasily. Their claws curled, their wings lowered. Their hearts knew his truth. They had mocked humans as fragile. But now they saw something terrifying. Fragile bodies hiding unbreakable will. The alien girl's knees gave way. She fell to the ground, her claws striking the stone, her chest shook. Her pride refused to accept it, but her body no longer listened, she whispered. Broken and trembling, why did you not finish me? The human looked down at her. His calm face showed no hatred, only clarity. Because victory is not in killing, he said. It is in showing mercy when others expect cruelty. It is in teaching those who would not listen, the crowd gasped. His words carried through them like thunder. No one had expected mercy, no one had expected restraint. For them, power was always about destruction, yet here was a human teaching them something greater. The council, still standing above, exchanged looks of shock. Even they, rulers of the academy, had never silenced a duel with only words. The human had done it, and he had done it without breaking a single rule. The alien girl lowered her head. For the first time, she did not feel anger. Her voice was weak, almost small. Then, you have won, but the human shook his head. His voice carried again, calm and firm. No, this is not about winning, this is about truth. He raised his eyes to the crowd. His words now no longer for her, but for every alien who watched. Humanity does not fight because we wish to prove ourselves. We fight because we must. We endure storms, we endure fire, we endure war. And every time we rise again, that is our strength. That is who we are. Silence filled the arena, but it was not empty. It was heavy, powerful. The cadets felt it in their bones. The galaxy would remember this moment. The human turned from the alien girl and walked back toward the gates, his back straight, his steps unbroken. He did not look behind him. He did not need to. The lesson had been given, and the crowd knew it. The alien girl stayed on the ground, her pride crushed, her heart forever marked by the truth she had learned. She had crossed the line, but in the end, it was the human who had rewritten what strength meant. As the gates closed behind him, whispers spread once more, but these were not mocking. They were fearful, awed, and uncertain for the first time. The galaxy wondered what would happen if humanity ever chose not just to endure, but to rise.